All right. I'm live. I'm going to I'm going to hope that this is a podcast. Okay. Yep. I know I'm live for sure. I can hear myself over there. Cool. I have successfully gone live with the layout that I found in the Dropbox. Oh, the chat's in the wrong spot. Hang on. I think that needs to go kind of there. Uh, for the record, I'm doing this in real time. It's just me this week. Everyone, wait, there's a double chat? Oh, shit. Why is there a double chat? Oh, no. Ah, I thought I had this. Okay, hang on. Properties. How do I turn? Why is there a double chat? Oh, man. You guys are making it worse by talking. It might just be this. It might just be double chat. And you know, it'll be a fun experiment. It is so much bigger than when I tested it out earlier. Oh geez. Okay, well if you guys are gonna I'm gonna have to just keep adjusting this. Holy shit. Alright, well, you know what? It is what it is. This is the podcast. This is what happens when you've done a podcast for like 10 years and you've never set it up once yourself because someone else did it. um and what to make it funnier, Paul should be joining me any minute, and then I get to figure out how to make him show up in this podcast live. Uh which I'm not 100% sure, but maybe he can walk me through that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But hey, this is the Top Down Perspective. It's November 7th. Uh, John's busy. Paul was busy, but then he changed his mind. So he's going to do his call in from his phone. So we'll see how that goes. But I just felt like we needed some scheduled content. You know, maybe someone just needed like a podcast to hit their feed this week that was about video games. Take that as you will. And I felt personally, I needed to just get some like normal video game talk. Also, like it's kind of a big week. Some cool stuff happened. So hey, I'm Sean Booker. This is the Top Down Perspective. I don't exactly know how long Paul will be, but I'm gonna talk about what I've been playing for a bit, and I'll save the show and tell, which I'm sure you can guess what that is, for when he's here. But I finished up the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign 2 days ago. Yesterday? Wait, what day is it? Today is Thursday. I think it was yesterday. So I quite enjoyed it. I think the best levels in that campaign are kind of right in the middle. I think near the end, there's kind of one twist involving a character, and then everything after that was just kind of like, okay. And it gets like pretty silly on the last few stages, especially the last two stages, which are kind of like two stages kind of on top of each other, and it kind of jumps back and forth. I thought it was just getting to be kind of a lot. But the minute you get the camera, whatever that stage is, and fake JFK is there, that's when I think it starts getting pretty good. Up until maybe those last two or three stages. Those I think that's like the high part. I think that's a cool campaign. And unlike last week, I was able to finally play some of the competitive multiplayer this weekend. They had like a double XP thing going on because they added, oh man, what's the map that I guess was real popular? I'm looking at this chat. I can actually make it smaller. And I guess that's a bit less of a mess now that I think about it. This is not going to be great for like the audio people, but just know that the video looks like dog shit. And I think I can put it underneath. Okay, so at least it'll be behind. I don't know how to like crop it. Is there a crop? Properties. Oh, let's see. If I take the height, I just wonder if that's going to mess up the scale. Okay, let's bring the height down a certain amount. No, see, it went the other way. Why would you do it like, okay. Let's put that back. Back to 1080. What else can I do with this? No, I don't know what any of that means. Anyway, What was I talking about? What's that map that they added that everyone's a big fan of? Nuketown. Yeah, someone in the chat. Thank you, Phantom Agent in the chat. They added Nuketown, and there was a map all about Nuketown, so they gave everyone double XP to do it. And I think I got to like level 25 ish or something. But I want to say my favorite modes, and Paul talked about this, and he's right. Is I don't even remember what the game type is, but it's the tiny maps, and it's like 6v6, and you just get so many kills because it's so fast and sporadic, and you're in such tight quarters that it's complete nonsense. I think those are the best maps, except for the one that's on the JFK level. It's in the like campaigning office one. That one I'm not a huge fan of because it's kind of just like a big open area. There are some small things off to the side, but the house is just complete nonsense. So I don't know. That's a cool mode though. I was playing with a friend. They didn't much care for it, but like that was just a good one. And then apart from that, what have I been playing? I've played some more Dragon Age Veilguard, which is still pretty cool. Most of this week though was finishing up Call of Duty, so I can get that out of the way. And actually, now that I just remembered, I also played through all of Alan Wake 2's Lake House DLC, which is very scary. And I thought I remembered in the campaign for Alan Wake that there was actual like difficulty options. This one didn't have it, but it had a lot of accessibility options that eventually made it very easy. And I turned them all on because I was like, I'm having none of this horror bullshit. Everyone is going to die in one shot, and I have unlimited ammo, and I'm invulnerable. And that made things a lot less scary. However, it also does make the final boss fight over in literally 1 second because they die in one hit, which was kind of funny, but I was like, I'm here for the vibes, and I'm here for how it connects to the greater Remedy universe. So that is still a cool piece of DLC. It's like a commentary on AI art, and like in the DLC, it's specifically like painting, and they set up this weird AI to try and recreate Alan Wake's writing. All right, Paul's here. Okay, this is going to be absolute nonsense for the audio people and probably for the video people, but let's try to get Paul in here. So, okay, first thing I have to do, I think, is call him. I don't think you guys can hear the call. Okay. Okay, I can hear Paul. Yeah. Have you seen the stream? We got 2 chats going. I don't know why there's double chat. But it'd be like that sometimes. Okay, so I need people in the chat to tell me if they can hear Paul. And I'm gonna try and build this in real time. They cannot hear Paul. Okay, so that's probably because I have the desktop audio turned off. Does that sound right, Paul?
Probably.
Okay, so I turned that
right.
on. Can you guys now hear Paul?
Hello. I'm here. I am alive.
We gotta wait for them. Okay, they can hear Paul. Cool. Now I need to. You're probably gonna have to tell me this one, Paul. How do I get a picture of you on the stream?
Yeah.
Do I want a browser? Is that what I want?
What you're gonna want to do, you're gonna want to create a new source. You're gonna want to go window capture, and you're gonna want to select the Discord call.
Okay, window capture, and I'll call it. I'll just call it window capture. That's fine.
Hmm?
And I just select like the whole Discord.
Discord. Select the window that. Okay, yeah, that's us. Well, that's me, at least.
Wait, is it already in there? Oh shit.
Yeah. For some reason, it's not showing your video.
Well, it's because I have it like you covered up. How do I like crop you to like just you? Because that changes the size. Is there like a crop?
I think it's if you hold down Alt and then like resize it using your mouse, it should. Is it Alt?
Okay. Okay. Yep.
Control or
It's
Shift?
Alt. It's Alt.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There we go. Building it in real time. I don't know how much information was there. Hopefully nothing personal. Okay. And then I need to put you
Everything we
behind
talk about,
the
anybody
layout.
can read.
Okay.
We're fine.
All right. And then I'm just for some reason
Just
not
throw me
popping
somewhere,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, you're there. Okay.
That's
Look
fine.
at that.
There you
We
go.
got 2 hosts, we got 2 chats. 4 times the fun.
What else do you need? What else do you need?
Yeah. Hey, welcome
One
to the
chat per
Top Down
host.
Perspective. Paul.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, how you been?
Thanks. I've been okay. I'm barely even late. You just wanted to get going.
Well,
You
I
were
thought it'd be
so
funny
excited.
if people saw like the bullshit as it was kind of as I was like kind of building this in real time. I thought that would be funny.
I'm definitely going to have to take a look at the VOD and just see what it looked like for the first bit.
It was mostly just this, but I was by myself. And the chat was like a lot bigger. So
Sure.
I don't know why there's 2. When I was testing this earlier, trying to figure out how to like get the chat in, there was just one that popped up.
Well, at some point, you should sit down and I'll help you set it up so that this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. So I was talking about the Black Ops 6 campaign because I finished Black Ops 6. I played some of the competitive, which you're right,
Sure.
the like 6v6 mode is the funnest and just complete nonsense with the tiny maps.
It's so dumb. It's so stupid.
I love it. It's great. I also played through the Lake House.
Oh, okay. I didn't find it that scary. Were you still terrified?
Yeah, so what I was explaining is I turned on every single accessibility option so that everything died in one bullet and I couldn't get hurt, and the final boss took me 1 second to beat.
Final boss is a piece of shit. I thought that final boss was really, really crappy. But those painting monsters, one of them spawned in an area where I'm pretty sure there wasn't paint, or the paint didn't load, maybe, on like the texture or something.
Okay.
So it just got me out of nowhere, and it freaked the hell out of me. It was so bad.
I hated that you had to just kind of run away from them at first, which sucked.
Yeah, because I guess you didn't really have. I think I dumped like a few bullets into one, and I was just like, "Oh, this isn't working."
She
Okay,
even
and then I
says
just ran.
it's not having any effect. Like the only thing you can do is stun them with a flashbang, but you need the new weapon to actually hurt them.
Yes.
Yeah.
New weapon is weird, but it's cool. It's neat.
Yeah. But anyways, what I was the main event, and I'm glad you're here for it now because I was saving it for you, is obviously this week's show and tell.
Sure.
This big beefy boy. PlayStation 5 Pro. Last week you saw the box. Nice. This is what was in the box.
Sure.
Well, actually, this one has a
disk drive. It looks like the picture outside of the box.
Because I took the disk drive off of the Slim that I had, and I put it on this because I put the Slim in the closet, and I wanted this one to have everything. If I somehow want to put a disc in this thing, but man, this thing is heavy. Sure. There it is. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, that is definitely a PlayStation 5 with a extra band to show that it is probably a Pro model.
Yeah, it's got like these like fins, these like gills, these racing stripes kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bummer.
Looks very similar.
Yeah, but so it's the 4-panel design again, just like the Slim model. Mm-hmm. Do you have the Slim or do you have the launch one?
I have the launch one.
Okay. It looks very similar to the Slim, but you can't use the Slim's panels on this. They're slightly different. They're just different enough so that you can't use any of them.
Cool.
I guess technically I could use the one that covers the disk drive because it is the exact same disk drive, so they had to make that the same. So I could have one of these colored, but that would just be kind of weird, you know? But that's a bummer because PlayStation has sent me a whole bunch of those cool covers. Like my Slim up until, I don't know, last week was shiny red. And then they sent me 2 of the Chroma collection covers. So I have the pearl one and I have the really cool indigo one, and that one looks super nice because it's
Oh,
like a dark blue purple depending on how the light's hitting it. The pearl's really nice
yeah.
too because it kind of looks like the silver from earlier this year, but if the light hits it right, you can see like pinks and greens in there, like a pearl. So that one's pretty cool too. But I can't use them, so I'm hoping they make new colors for the pros.
Yeah, it's really too bad, honestly, that it's not compatible. Like, I understand that they want to sell stuff, but come on. It
I mean,
sucks.
yeah, it's just kind of another example of like Sony's gonna kind of nickel and dime you at every turn. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, that isn't necessarily just a Sony thing these days, but it's too bad
yeah,
either way.
for sure. Um, but anyways, yeah, up until when did the review embargo pass? Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday was when, because it came out today. The Pro launches today. So the embargo was up
So
yesterday.
yesterday.
I was just like so busy this whole weekend doing the review and stuff. Holy smokes, I want to stop thinking about this thing. I was so
Yeah,
nice to be
I'm
past
sure.
it. Um, it was such a tight turnaround on the review embargo for me, and it was a
Yep.
lot of work. It was a lot of work capturing the gameplay because I had to play like the same section of a game 4 times because I like Spider-Man 2 for example. I started that game up just like a new game of it so I could have the exact same visuals, and I had to play it on like a baseline PS5 on quality mode and on performance mode, and then on the PS5 Pro I had to play it on pro quality and pro performance mode, and I had to capture all that, and then I had to like set it up in my Premiere thing, and I had to zoom in and be like, all right, what's different? And I spent hours just looking at like slowed down footage to see, okay, what are the shadows like here? What are the reflections like here? What are the textures like here? And that was a lot of work. And we when we shot that video, even the like parts with me, like we shot that in 60 frames per second, which we rarely shoot videos at that. We're shooting at 24, but I needed to be able to show 60 frames, so I needed everything to be 60 frames. And I was like, this is like the most complicated video I've ever done.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but
What were some of the highlight games that you were like, oh, I really noticed a difference with these ones specifically?
so it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is like the one.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that patch didn't go live until like the day before the console launch or the embargo went up, so I had no time to kind of capture that and talk about it in my review. I was already like editing the review together at that point. But I had seen
Right.
a like a demo of it like a month ago when I went down to PlayStation, and yeah, that one's night and day. Because before, if people remember, on performance mode to get it to 60 frames, it almost looked blurry. Like everything was just fuzzy. The resolution was so low. Um, Now it just looks like exactly what you want. Like it looks good and it's smooth, and that was awesome. So that was the big one. The downside, however, is I put 100 hours into that game. I'm not playing any more of it. So good luck for
Sure.
everyone who is going to play it. Now they can play the best version of it for sure. Um,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and
Cool.
and I mentioned this in the review as well. It's kind of a bummer that there's no like big first party title coming out anywhere around this launch to get like excited about.
Yeah, I think the one that everybody's kind of touting is, will this make GTA 6 run better? Because maybe that's when you want to start looking at getting one of those or whatever for now.
Oh, for sure. I
But
mean,
who
it'll
knows?
make everything look better. Um, but there's just even at this point, like just in terms of games coming out, there's nothing big really on the horizon anymore. Microsoft
Yeah.
Flight Simulator, kind of a niche title. And then Indiana Jones is probably the other big one. That's also just a big question mark because who knows. But like we're kind of at the
Yep.
end of the year now. Like
Yes.
after Dragon Age, it was like, hey, that's it for the big titles. Now it's just like finish your backlog time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Pretty much. Like Indiana Jones is the only next one, I guess, for most people.
right.
But
In
yeah,
terms of
that's
like
it.
big budget ones, and yeah, and for all, and who knows?
Yep.
Like the previews seem good, but it's a brand new thing. Who knows how that one's gonna land kind of critically and
Totally.
everything and whatnot. So we'll see. That's not coming to PlayStation 5 till next year anyway. But Sony did post like a blog post, I think on Embargo Day, or it may have been the day before. I can't quite remember. Saying like, here's 50 plus titles that are going to be PS5 Pro enhanced. And it was way more titles than they had mentioned to us in like the review guide. The review guide had like 15. So I originally wrote that review being
Oh
like,
wow.
hey, there's not a lot getting updated. And then when they put that out, I was like, oh, I need to delete that because
Oh, I'm gonna look like an idiot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's not correct anymore. So,
Yeah.
um, so and it's a lot of stuff you would expect. Apex, Dragon Age is on there, Black Ops. But it's funny because I think Diablo is also on there. So it's like a lot of these Xbox owned titles, Black Ops 6, Diablo 4. It's like, okay, so now those games, technically speaking, on an Xbox are the worst way to play those games.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is just kind of like a weird juxtaposition for because they're owned by Xbox now.
Yeah. Totally. That's also what I love that Xbox is doing, right? It's like, yeah, I could play this on Game Pass on PC. So, like, I'm happy with Xbox myself
Right.
for that reason. But yeah, it is a little weird.
Okay, but anyways, that was my week. What have you been playing this week?
So I started up Dragon Age right after the podcast
Oh,
last
hell
week.
yeah. Okay.
I think the environments and stuff in that game are fucking incredible, and that hair
Oh,
is
yeah.
insane.
Did
Like
you give your character some big locks?
No, but I did go through all of them and kind of like whooshed them around a bit.
Okay. Yeah, my
Um,
character has like the big kind of curly long hair. I was like, this is awesome. Yeah. And again, yeah, I
the
agree with
hair
you.
physics are incredible.
They look so good. I understand that's only on if you're playing on console wise, like the fidelity. No, hang on. Some of the modes, the hair doesn't look good. I think it's on the Series S. The hair actually doesn't look good,
Oh,
which makes sense. I can't remember. I was looking
that
at
makes sense.
the Digital Foundry review of it, but I do agree also with you with the environments. That like the backdrops look great. There's like cool shimmers in the air.
Phenomenal.
It looks super magical.
It's very, very cool looking. I still hate how every humanoid looks in this game. I can't stand it,
Oh,
but
I like it.
whatever. Yeah, I'm
So what
not a
class
fan.
and stuff did you go with?
I went with a warrior because I want to play a reaper. Been excited for that. Uh,
What does that mean?
so
What is a Reaper?
big two-handed swooshing weapons or whatever.
Okay.
It's unfortunate that I have to wait till level 20 to do it. Like that kind of sucks, but I don't know, something to look forward to. I think the other ones were champion, like you said, the tank, a lot of shield related stuff, which I was not very interested in myself, and Slayer, which also is pretty cool class. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. It's going to take a while before I feel like I'm going to get any of that really cool stuff, but so far it's fine. I like melee heavy stuff in general, and I think the shield mechanic and the perfect parries or whatever are pretty easy to pull off in this game and
Yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, it's so far so good in everything. I heard the writing gets pretty bad in some spots, but I haven't encountered that yet. I'm not very far in though.
Where are you?
So I finished the first main, like, met the first main companion and finished that first main area, if that
Is that
makes sense.
Balara?
So, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It's been about a week since I've played, like a little less than a week, so it's been a bit.
Sure.
Um, yeah, so far it's fine. It's definitely not the type of Dragon Age that I like am chomping at the bit for because I like the old style of Dragon Age, but it is still totally serviceable so far. And I want to see where the story goes and the characters and stuff. So can't really speak to that stuff yet. I just wanted to say that game is incredible looking and it runs very, very well. So if you want just like a really nice looking set piece thing, that's probably one of the games you should pick up this year.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a real good one of like as like winter kind of approaches. It's like I'm just going to get cozy with like my fantasy RPG game and just hang out with my weird elf friends or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm liking it. There's a question: is it level? So level 20 is when you get kind of like your like subclass kind of
Or like
changes up your like
specialization.
yeah, and that is not the level cap because you can keep specking as you get into that specialization. So it's just like an early one. I'm not even at that spot yet. But one thing that's nice about the skill tree is you can refund everything for free and just try a whole different path, which is pretty awesome, and I love that for sure.
Might try out the rogue, because I heard that that's pretty fun.
Oh, can you just
Kinetic,
switch
so
whole classes?
I was thinking of loading up another game
Oh, a new
just
save.
to
Okay, yeah,
test out.
because I knew you could
Well, I kind of
change
wanted.
your like look and appearance. I didn't think you could do classes, but I didn't look that close into it.
Kind of want to try both the mage and the rogue and just see what like I'm early enough in that it would be a few hours, like it's nothing in the grand scheme of things to find one that I really really love, but I'm having fun so far. So yeah, that I'm sure it'll be a while before I can talk to like specific story stuff or character stuff, because I think that's going to take a while to unroll, but I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. All right, well, that's pretty much games we've been playing. Let's talk a little bit about the news. Not a ton happened this week, but it is N7 Day, Mass Effect
Yep.
Day,
Yep.
which means we get some Mass Effect news, such as a live-action Mass Effect series in the works at Amazon. It's being written by the writer behind Fast and Furious 9.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Which is like, okay, that movie's like fine. I didn't think it's not
Yeah.
anything amazing. Like, okay. I hope it's good. I like Mass Effect a whole bunch, so
True. Mass Effect is very good.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like the last few video game adaptations have been good, although I watched one episode of Like a Dragon.
Oh, did you? Was that any good?
I didn't care too much for it, and I was just kind of looking at what other people were saying, and people do not seem to like that show, which kind of
They
turned.
take it too seriously.
I don't know. I don't think they take it serious. Yeah, I think it's just not as goofy or over the top as I wanted it to be.
Right.
Like
Okay.
in that first one, like it just kind of seems like, yeah, these guys like street fighting. They're just like underground fights, and it's like at no point did someone like pick up a motorcycle
Yeah, that
or just
you're
go
not
like
picking up
ape
at
shit
least a
against anything.
bike,
Yeah.
and you're not doing it right in the first episode. I agree.
So, and unfortunately, like I said, people didn't really speak highly of the rest of it. So I don't know if I can get back to it. I have a lot of shows I need to kind of get to at the moment. But I mean, Fallout's good. Actually, there was a bit of Fallout that I didn't grab. Speaking of Fallout, they just cast Macaulay Culkin in season 2,
Oh, good.
which I can't remember the last time he was in something. Because everyone, I know Kieran
Yeah.
Culkin's in a bunch. So I'm gonna quickly look at this guy's IMDb. What is Macaulay?
Macaulay Culkin has played like creepy looking homeless dude or something before.
There
Like
was
he's
that
played,
like internet short thing. Yeah, that's what I remember
or
him
was
from.
that too? Yep.
Oh, I guess he was in a bit of American Horror Story a few years back.
Okay. Yeah,
And
sure.
then everything I've not heard about like any of these other things.
It's the most recent like movie type thing.
Okay, movie like that I've heard of, or just technically speaking.
I guess just technically speaking, and that
Something
you've
in
heard of.
2022 called Intergalactic. He was a voice. He was the voice of Downtown
Oh,
Pat.
okay.
Okay, so it was an animated thing. This animation looks awesome. I don't know what this is. I guess it was a Netflix movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but let's see, something where he's not, where he's actually on screen. That's not a TV show. In 2019, there was a movie called Changeland,
Interesting. Okay.
which
Don't
I
know it.
also have never heard of. So there you go. Anyway, yeah, season 2 of Fallout and Mass Effect TV
I'm
show.
excited.
Hopefully it's good. I hope the aliens look good. Which I feel like, Star Wars, those aliens look good. They just gotta kind of do that. Just don't make them CG, right? Make some good costumes.
Agreed. Yeah, agree.
All right, probably some of the biggest news um, is I'll just read the tweet here from Nintendo Co. Limited. This is Furukawa. At today's corporate management policy briefing, we announced that Nintendo Switch software will also be playable on the successor to Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch
Good.
Online will be available on the successor to Nintendo Switch as well. Further information about the successor to Nintendo Switch, including its compatibility with Nintendo Switch, will be announced at a later date. This is the most
Good.
robotic tweet I've read it, but great. Fantastic. I think this was kind of heavily rumored already that it would be backwards compatible. They
Yeah,
sold way too many Switches for it not to be the case. That would be kind of
totally.
insane. Um,
Totally. Yep.
Also, I feel like Nintendo usually does like at least one generation back of backwards compatibility for most of their stuff before they like do a full break. Whether it's like 3DS to DS, DS to Game Boy, Wii to GameCube, Wii U to Wii, and so on and so forth. So, not
Yeah,
surprising, but
no, I agree.
great to hear. I'm still surprised we have not heard about like an actual information about it. I think I read a tweet saying we are now past when the Switch was announced. So there's going to be a shorter build up compared to when the Switch was announced to launch for this time around.
Oh, sure, for next year. Yeah, yeah, gotcha.
All right, and this next news story is that Take-Two has sold hang on, Private Division, which is a publisher. They did stuff like Kerbal Space Program 2, The Outer Worlds is probably one of their big ones. They have not said who they sold it to or for how much, but that those details will come soon.
Oh, that's weirdly ominous.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I'm assuming at this point they're just like not allowed to mention it yet or something. There's probably some legal stuff
Yeah.
here. I don't know. I'm curious if someone bought them. Obviously, someone bought them, so I'm curious who they sold them to, and unless they just kind of went off independent. I would assume not. I would assume the wording would be somewhere like they bought their independence, yada yada, similar to Toys for Bob when they kind of spun out.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious who did buy them.
Yeah, it's weird.
The one exception, so I'll just read this little graph here. The unnamed buyer purchased the rights to, quote, substantially all of Private Division's live and unreleased titles with the exception of No Rest for the Wicked, which is an action role-playing game that was released earlier this year. And I'm trying to remember who No Rest for the Wicked was, because Moon Studios. So this is the Ori developers. This is the game they're currently
Yes,
working on.
that's right.
And it's kind of a cool game as well. So for whatever reason, Take-Two held on to that one.
Yeah, sure.
Best of luck to those developers. All right, last little story. This is a PSA, is that Death Stranding Stealth dropped today on Xbox, and it's 50% off if people want to pick that up for $20.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I think people should check that thing out if you're vaguely ever interested. At 50% off, that's a hell of a steal.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. It's a pretty big launch discount. Most launch discounts are like 10.
Huge.
So yeah, 50% off. Good for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently 50% on Steam too.
Oh, okay. Maybe they're just doing it across the board, so we're just kind of matching that. Let's do some questions.
Sense.
topdownperspective@gmail.com is the email address, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, and Blue Sky, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box are great ways to send questions in. This first one comes from Suku. If chickens were to ever rise against humanity, how many of them do you think you can fight off before you get eaten?
Probably 5 or 6.
I think you could do more than 5 or 6. Are you kidding?
Oh no, some of them are pretty big, and if they attack you at the same time, that's a lot of weight on you.
I'm
Hard.
thinking this is gonna, like, I don't think chickens could do all that much damage. Like, they're not gonna be able to do like a fatal blow. I don't think.
No, but I think they could pin you down, and then more chickens could
I'm thinking it's gonna
start
be like
coming on top.
kind of a death of 1,000 cuts. Like, it's gonna be a slow death, So I think I could get more than 5 or 6 because like unless they
Oh, like
like
you mean
slashed
like
my
over
neck,
time? Sure.
like I think it's just going to be a whole bunch of like pecks and scratches.
Sure. I guess I was thinking like how many chickens could we throw at you before it became a problem? Not like all at one time, not I think I could take on 5 or 6 at a time, probably for a while until I get exhausted, and then I'm
Yeah, I
dead,
mean,
probably.
sure, if this is one on one and they're going to keep coming at me as I kill each one, Dragon Ball Z style, then I
Yeah,
bet it's like 100.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
right?
But
Like they're chickens.
sure, yeah, exactly. So we're thinking what number like they get dropped on you all at once. They're all angry as hell. Cuz I still think like, if I'm thinking of like 5 or 6, like one kick, I'm probably hitting 3 of them in one kick.
Yeah.
And I'm going for blood. That kick is going to damage them. They are going to think twice before attempting the second charge.
Yeah. Oh, you're right, because isn't like a method of killing them also just grabbing them by the neck and pulling, like slightly?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the harder part would be me actually being able to kill them. But, as I
like
say that,
more
it's like
moralistically.
after 2 or 3 cuz I'm fighting for my life here, right? It
Totally,
it
yeah.
probably gets easier. Like the first 2 are probably like a very like when they rebooted like Tomb Raider, and when she had
Yeah.
to kill that deer, it almost like broke her psyche. And then 20
Yep.
minutes later, she's murdering dudes and not thinking twice about it.
All it takes is one.
Yeah.
First one. The first one's the hardest.
I bet I could get like I'm gonna say 20. I know chickens are probably like more fucked up than I could imagine because the chickens that not that I'm exposed to chickens that often, but the ones that I've probably seen are like extra fatted up because they're gonna get eaten or
Oh,
something.
sure.
I bet there's some like breed of chickens out there that are like, these dudes are absolute motherfuckers.
Yeah, probably. It's probably true. Dead writes, if someone tells you that you need to watch X amount of hours of content to fully appreciate the movie/season, do you ever ask how many hours of content, recaps, or memes you need to appreciate 90% of the movie or season? Especially if some of the mandatory content is only mid compared to what you want to watch. Demonstrate, ask what you need to see to enjoy 90% of the following: Rings of Power Season 2, Book of Boba Fett, Home, Avengers Endgame.
Okay, well,
So
Rings of Power season 2, it's a TV show. I feel like
you
you
could
need to
just walk
watch.
into season 2 if
You,
you wanted to. Like,
you
it
don't think
doesn't
they need to
matter.
see season 1?
I don't think you need to because those characters. Well, so here's the thing. How into Lord of the Rings are you? Because the more into it you are, the less you're probably going to like that series anyway.
I think for season 2 you need to have watched season 1. I also think it would be weird
All of season 1.
to jump in at season 2. Like I think it's like less weird to watch like the second movie in a franchise than it is to like jump in late on a TV show.
On a TV show because of the slow, like, build up and everything. Yeah.
Well, I also feel like with a movie, it's almost kind of like there's a lot of settings with a movie where it's like put on sporadically. Like, hey, let's watch a movie tonight, or you're with friends. Hey, we're gonna throw a movie on, or hey, we're going out to the movie. There's almost like a spontaneity to it. Like when you're with your friends, no one sits down and be like, hey, do you guys want to watch season 2, episode 3 of Rings of Power together? It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So what Dead said here is I watched the first 3.5 episodes of season 1, then jumped into season 2 and felt like it was at 90% peak enjoyment. Yeah, like if you watch enough of season 1 just to kind of get into the world, know who the characters are and kind of their relationship, there's not a whole lot that happens by the end of season 1 that like you need to know because all of that kind of happens in season 2. It's all building up. So I could see that working for you. I didn't know 3.5 was like the sweet spot, so that's very specific.
My
But
question, I guess, for Dead is like, why did you skip the rest of season 1? Like, what was the rush to get to season 2? Why didn't you just keep watching it at whatever pace you needed? But it's almost like there was some kind of urgency of like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to get spoiled, so I have to be I have to know all the new stuff.
mm,
Um,
sure.
But
For
they just
Book of
responded, I was
Boba
bored of
Fett,
season 1 and didn't want to finish. Well, then I'm curious why you thought 2 would be different. Like, I'm assuming it's a further continuation. I don't know. Unless someone specifically said to me like, "Yo, season 2 is awesome, season 1 sucks." Then it's like, okay, maybe that's why you would skip it, but I don't know. Anyway, and apparently that's what the exact scenario was. All right.
mm,
The second example here, Book of Boba Fett. Okay, this is a weird one because
I
Book of
think,
Boba Fett is bad.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think you need to like. Thing is that you should skip Book of Boba Fett unless you really love The Mandalorian. Then you should watch the last 3 episodes
That's what I'm
of the
saying. Is like
Book
those
of
are the
Boba
ones like
Fett.
worth watching, but that's almost a different question. If you're a Mandalorian person, you
Yeah,
watch this.
totally.
But I guess the bigger question is like, do you need to have seen the original Star Wars trilogy where Boba Fett is in?
I think that makes it worse because you realized how cool Boba Fett looked back then and how cool he was before he did anything.
Okay, yeah, and with Book of Boba Fett being like bad, it's like that might even kind of just like ruin stuff. So who knows about that part, but I don't know. Maybe just don't watch Book of Boba Fett. I think you'd be better off skipping that.
Yeah,
And like I
don't
said, just
bother.
watch the ones that are just Mandalorian 2.5 or 3.5 or whatever that thing was. Um, yeah. Also, it's like, don't most people just kind of know who Boba Fett is through cultural osmosis at this point?
I mean, for the most part, yeah.
But I guess that number of people will go down as those movies get older and older. So I don't know.
What was the next one here?
No Way Home. Okay, this is an interesting one. This one and Avengers are an interesting one because now these are ones that like I have like some real investment for. So with No Way
Oh,
Home,
No Way Home, the Spider-Man.
yeah,
For
yeah.
some reason, I couldn't. I was thinking like a Pixar movie or something, like over the head. That I was like, No Way Home. Jesus.
Well, what I said and made some people do is you need to watch every movie that has Spider-Man in the name.
Like, you should at least watch one of each of those Spider-Men, probably.
See, the hard part is like I personally think you need to have also watched the second Amazing Spider-Man because it's a real cool payoff for some stuff that happens in that one.
Yeah,
And if you only do one of the Tobey
yeah,
Maguires, you're gonna miss out on like which villain do you miss out on, right? Because Sandman's there, Doc Ock's there, like you know what I mean. They pull one from each of the movies.
yeah. And to be honest with you, this is gonna go ape shit in a second when I say you have to watch all the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Um, it's actually a doable task to be like, you should watch the Spider-Man movies, like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, and then you're probably good.
Well, you should
It's
probably
like
watch the
what,
Tom
5?
Holland ones, right? Like those ones that's literally that character.
Oh, those ones you can skip.
I don't think that's true. Um, that's the
Those ones you skip.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the spirit of this question is to like, so you're trying to appreciate 90% of the movie. If you want to like really appreciate it, then yeah, I guess there's some homework. And like, I think for these last two examples of doing, it does pay off. Um,
Mm.
but it's obviously going to come down to like how much time you have. Cause I think we can just kind of tie this into Avengers. There's definitely a lot of mid in there. Like you're going to have to go through
Oh
like,
yeah,
Thor 2. I bet there is actually an answer. You can skip some
yeah,
of them, but it's like, it was so amazing kind of living through the entire Endgame saga and just having 10 years of these movies like piggybacking off each other and all accumulation into this. And it's like, sure, it
yeah.
seems like a lot, but if you can do it, like that is one of the most unique things like that movies have done.
It's so incredibly not fair because it took a decade and it had just the biggest payoff because of it. Um, it's like what you have to. I don't know if I know people that went into Endgame only seen Infinity War and they said, yeah, it was still great. It's like, yeah, I could see that, but I think you should have some time with those characters, maybe each of their origin movies or something. It's a minimum.
Yeah, as a minimum to know who they are. I do think part of it, like, you're still gonna have a good time just watching the movie because they're good movies, but it's like if you really want to get it, if you're really curious, if you really want to get like the most out of it, I think it is worth doing the homework. If you're just in the mood of like I want to watch a movie, why pick these like accumulation movies that have so much history? Why, like, go pick Inception. You don't need any hit back, like,
Oh, right.
just that movie's just great, and you don't need to worry about anything that came before it. It's just awesome. Go, and there's so many movies that are just standalone like that. I feel like if part of you is thinking like, oh, I should do No Way Home, I should watch Avengers Endgame. Um, and the nice thing about No Way Home is if you just did Avengers Endgame before this, you did all the homework for No Way Home.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You did a bunch of that homework.
I
Cause
think
yeah,
what Homer is saying, it kind of rings true. If you're gonna like those movies, you might as well watch the other ones. If you don't, then fuck it. Like, which, yeah, exactly. Like, if you want to see Endgame, the reason you want to see it is probably for the same reason you'll like all those other ones. So just take your time and go through them.
yeah,
Why
if you
not?
if you want to see the fun superheroes, watch. There's more superheroes, but and then this is just kind of a separate topic, or a separate point about the same topic. Is like I do feel bad for people who didn't see like watch them as they came out, because I know tons of
Oh, having
people.
to catch up.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
or just the idea of like, hey, I want to watch Avengers. They're in the mindset of doing it, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna spend the next like 2 months or whatever watching these movies, and that's gonna be fun. But there is something kind of special about this. Was 10 years of my life, like when Iron Man came out, I was still in high school, and then I had finished college. I had moved to a different country when Avengers, like, it was a very significant portion of my life was going along with these movies, and that's exciting too. And like I said, when we did our TVP spoiler cast about No Way Home, is it was like coming home to your old friends and seeing like, what have you guys been up to? Like, holy smokes, let's catch up. Where are you?
Yeah.
What's new in your life? This is awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
You know.
It was cool.
And then
It's a good
D
time.
Tang in the chat says for Deadpool and Wolverine, seeing all the Fox movies, that was huge too. And what was uniquely cool about that is there were so many. And we did a spoiler cast for this as well that you can go check out. But there were so many things about like, are you just following pop culture news? Because some of these payoffs
Yeah.
only ever existed in like headlines for a few years and stuff like that. And those finally, yeah. So
Yeah, it's kind of madness actually, the amount of crap you have to keep up with to fully get all of that stuff. And even then, you'll probably miss a few.
probably, but it can be rewarding. Specifically, these kind of ones can definitely be rewarding. All right, Phantom Aegis writes, do
Yeah.
you think the Joy Cons will be forward compatible with next gen Nintendo software, or will they only be usable for Nintendo Switch games?
Next gen Nintendo software.
I just don't know if they're even going to connect onto the device. I guess they could connect wirelessly.
Yeah, like I think they'll work
Yeah,
as in they are Bluetooth things that could be read, but I don't think they'll like fit in the rails. I don't think they'll charge properly
right.
the way the other ones do. All of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. That's weird though, 'cause, like, if you're in a weird scenario of buying the Switch 2, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy some Joy Cons for it, some Switch One Joy Cons. Do you now have no way to charge them? Because you can't plug those in by a cable. They have to be plugged into the
Oh
Switch to
shit.
charge, or some kind of accessory,
Yeah, you would have to buy an accessory of some sort to do it.
which that's insane.
That
Um,
is weird.
yeah,
I didn't consider.
but I think you're right. I don't think it's gonna work in the rails because we've seen those rumors of those like magnetic rails. It seems like it's a different attaching mechanism,
Totally different.
and I can't
Yeah.
imagine they're going to connect to it. But
Maybe they'll have like rail adapters sort of thing that have kind of a connection
or
that
or
you put
maybe
on like permanently.
some third party maybe
Yeah.
comes out with that. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I kind of do hope that the whatever the Switch 2's proprietary Joy-Cons are just kind of better, because I think the Joy-Cons kind of suck. And I know
Yeah.
it's kind of a trade-off because you need them to be like functional, portable, like they need to kind of do a whole lot of different things. They can't be, like we took a dual sense and snapped it in half. so you could to make the PlayStation Portal, because then this is a lot less portable because of it. But it's a lot more comfortable in my hands, and it's why I use
Yeah,
the Pro controller most of the time when I'm playing the Switch at home.
sure. Makes sense. Jacko304 writes, feeling nostalgic today, so what movie is your go-to movie that no matter how many times you see it, you'll never not love it? And then what is your favorite game in the same regard?
Okay, so like comfort media, basically.
Yeah. Men in Black is one for me. Every time I
Any of
watch
them or
it,
the
I
first one?
watch first one.
Okay, no, the second one's real good.
I mean, the first one is the one that like I will put on at any time and watch it. The
Okay,
other ones, if I want Men in Black, they're good, but they're not like comfort necessarily.
I like all of them except International.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, we're just talking Avengers. I like the first Avengers movie quite a bit. Um,
Sure, that's a great one.
Kick Ass is such a good movie. These are
Yeah,
just like
Scott
what's my favorite
Pilgrim for
movies.
me.
I'm thinking of the
Yeah,
holidays. Arthur Christmas, Klaus are I watch those every year in the Christmas season. Those are fantastic.
sure. Scott Pilgrim versus the World
That's a fun one.
is a go-to that I've done probably too many times, arguably, but I like it every time.
Did you watch the Netflix show?
I did.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then games, same thing. At this, it's usually just whatever like live service game. Like a lot of this week where I'm just turning my head off, or my brain off. Overwatch 2 right now. It was Apex for a while there. Um, Pretty much that, or maybe a racing game if I have one installed. That's another good. Just turn my brain off and just kind of play something.
sure. Like P-Cross games are kind of the go-to for that sort of thing. Um,
Something without a story.
every now and then go, what's that?
Something without a story.
Yeah, yeah, probably those.
All right, and last one from VGC Kenny. Say something positive about, and then he's got like a list here. Your co-hosts. All right, I'll start. It was awesome that Paul joined me because doing this solo was daunting.
Sure. I mean, say something positive about your co-host. I mean, we're friends. Like, I don't know what there's um
Oh, that can be
like
good enough. We're
I guess
friends.
since
That's a positive. That's a nice thing to say.
yeah, I mean, there's been lots of times where I kind of dreaded the idea of having another thing to do on my calendar, but like every time show night comes around, I'm excited to talk about games for a little bit. Like,
Nice. Okay, next one. The TDP community.
oh, this is going to be a difficult one.
Because they
Um,
suck. I got one, and it's pretty much the opposite of that. Is pretty rare we have to do any kind of like moderating in the Discord. People are usually
yeah,
pretty congenial, and if the few times where I do seem like, wait, are people arguing? They kind of police themselves and kind of pull themselves
totally.
out of the scenario. So it is pretty great that I don't have to be very hands on with people being asses. And I think I even made one of the rules in the Discord: don't be an ass, and it seems like everyone's following that.
Totally. I mean, as far as community goes, it's like the one thing you can ask for is people policing themselves so we don't have to is awesome.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they give us the show basically every week. There's been so many times where, with Sean gone, me and John have to kind of throw something together, and I literally just read everything that they gave, and it's all the top news stuff, all the like a bunch of good questions or whatever. Oh, they're great.
Yeah, specific with the news is, I collect a lot of that stuff on my own just when I'm like scrolling through Twitter or whatever. But then when I go to like see what the community also brings up, it's like, oh, they grabbed all that stuff anyways. So that's great.
It's a bunch of dumb bullshit that we're never going to talk about,
That's not
as
true.
they do.
Okay, next one here is video games. Say something positive about video games.
I can't. It's the worst thing.
Positive about video games. I mean, obviously, video games are great. We're doing a whole show about them. Um, I'm gonna, right now I'm trying to think of something kind of topical right now, and we're kind of getting towards game of the year, so I'm trying to like play like a lot of the things that I missed, the things that I really wanted to get play, and there's just so many cool and different ones that I have my hands on or my fingers in right now. I'm excited for game of the year in a couple months.
I mean, they're a completely like there's nothing like them, right? Interactive media, it's great. Like it's for me in my life has been like the most important thing to keep me going in a lot of cases.
Sure. All right, say something positive about America. I know it's not easy, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere with negativity. Ah,
Um, I don't. So thing is that it's the same as like any country. There's like good and bad people in it, so I honestly don't particularly think about America at all. So I
all
don't
right,
know.
something positive about America on November 7th, 2024. Um, right now the weather is nice where I'm at.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, next one is Canada.
It's not America.
Yep, that's a great one. Um, I'm gonna say universal health care. I'm gonna say
Sure.
it is really easy when I talk to when I travel or I talk to people. It is so nice that I can say I'm from Canada, and then I can shit on the states, and everyone agrees with me.
Yeah, just putting the like the flag on your thing or whatever kind of opens you up immediately to people.
Oh, and last thing is say something positive about yourself. Thanks for everything so far, and I hope that you will continue to be a bright spot. I'm going to pat myself on the back for doing this PlayStation 5 Pro review. I worked so hard. I worked all weekend. It was so much work, and I got that done. And luckily, the numbers are decent because a lot of times in media, when the videos that you're like passionate about or the projects you're passionate about, they don't perform well. And then the ones you just don't give a shit about, those videos just get millions of views, and it's disheartening. But this one's doing fine, and that's nice to see.
Uh, Biggest positive I can give myself is that no matter what happens, I keep going somehow.
There you go. Sometimes that's all you need.
Yep.
Um, all right, that's going to do it for questions. If you want to send in questions for next week, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter and Blue Sky, the Discord channel, and John's P.O. Box. Um, and I said and for all of those, so you have to do all of them in order to get your question read.
Every
So,
single one.
yeah.
Yep.
What's your game of the week?
Dragon Age and Veilguard.
I'm going to give it to Black Ops 6. I had a good multiplayer sessions this week, so
It's so fun.
yeah, it
So
was, it
fun.
was good. The double XP, that really helped.
Yep. Yep. Did you just do Nuketown a whole bunch? Nuketown came back last week.
No, not just Newtown, but I did do that just to kind of see what the whole hubbub was. Um,
Yeah. Somebody asked a long time ago, um, small maps, are they as small as Shipment is the map they were looking for, the one with shipping containers. And some of them are smaller. So if that's exciting to you, get excited. And one of them is literally just two shitty little apartment buildings, the wall blown out.
that
Very
one's the
cool.
best
Good.
because it is so dumb. And
It's so good. Yeah.
yeah. All right, that's gonna do it. I'm gonna figure out how to stop this. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.